Once upon a time. All right, you know what? I'm no, 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 no. That's not gonna work. I was trying to do the voice, but I don't think I could do it for an extended period of time. How am I? How am I? How does it sound? Anyways, greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here. We don't have a lot of time and we have a lot of stuff to go over. It is the Us spoiler cast. It is just me, just my thoughts. We've got Donovan Martin in the chat. Donovan, I'm going to get to your thoughts in just a minute. You're basically going to kind of co-pilot this thing with me as we go through it. I'm basically going to be relying on your comments in the chat for, to steer the conversation. But really quick, guys, really quick, just to get it out of the way, I was pumped for this movie, and this is maybe it's like a situation where I was maybe a little too pumped for it. My expectations were maybe a little bit too high. I let my expectations get into the stratosphere, and I was expecting nothing less than a perfect movie. Us is not a perfect movie. Having said that, Us is a very ambitious movie, and it's a ballsy movie, and I respect the hell out of it. I really do. It's not the movie I wanted, and there are some directions that it goes in where I'm still like I'm not 100% sold on it. I don't know. The more I think about it, though, the more I watch like ending explained videos and all that. I don't know, like the hype to me is kind of like when I first watched it, I was like, okay, this is it's good. It's certainly not what I was expecting. And I gotta say, watching it a second time, along with analyzing the ending, watching some videos explaining the ending and what it all means, getting some of the deeper context of the film. Yeah, this is pretty much on level with what I was expecting, which is a goddamn masterpiece. I mean, Jordan Peele does it again, man. This isn't as accessible of a movie as Get Out was, but I would wager to say this is even better than Get Out. I mean, ooh boy, it's certainly one of the most unconventional and thought-provoking horror films of the last 20 years. I mean, I'm just going to say that right there. It's not it's not your typical horror film. It's not a jump scare factory. It's not trying to be. It has very few jump scares in it. But what it does have, I mean, I'm just going to jump right into the chat because I know Donovan really wants to talk about it. So let's get into it. Let me pull up the chat right here. And Donovan, keep in mind, I don't have much time, so I'll try and get to all your comments, but we'll try and keep on a good pace to get to Shazam as well tonight. So let's see. So Donovan said, speaking of creepy media, did you watch the Stranger Things season 3 trailer yet? Yes, I did. I liked it a lot. I think that they're definitely angling on, the kids maturing and not being kids anymore. I like the whole bit about, like what do you think we're gonna stay in our basement forever and play games our whole life? Definitely. I like all the character stuff. I like all the character stuff. All the upside down stuff is, to me, honestly, a little bit arbitrary in Stranger Things to the character stuff. The characters to me are what I'm drawn to that show for. So so far so good on the marketing. Okay, Donovan, I absolutely loved Lupita Nyong'o's performance in the film. I would consider it Oscar worthy. Absolutely agree, Donovan. I think Lupita Nyong'o absolutely knocked it out of the park. And hopefully this is not going to be the Oscars repeating their mistakes and snubbing a huge contender for Best Actress because it's in the horror genre. Looking at you, Academy Awards and Toni Collette. And I'm very much agree that it should be worthy. All right, so I wonder if Jordan Peele will ever venture into the realm of animation, because if so, and I'm in the industry at the time, I would love to work with him, says Donovan. Yes, I work with Jordan Peele as well. I would honestly, we're going to talk about an Us Halloween Horror Nights maze, but I would love to sit down and get Jordan Peele's thoughts on an Us Halloween Horror Nights maze. And Jordan Peele in the realm of animation is definitely intriguing. I am very much looking forward to the Twilight Zone as well, because this is not the last thing we're going to see from Jordan Peele this year. Twilight Zone is coming out very soon. Okay, let's see. One thing on my mind: does this movie take place in the same universe as Get Out? That's a good question, Donovan. I've seen theories either way. I guess to me the one could connect the dots where the essentially the big one of the big twists in this movie is that it's not just the family that's the duplicates, it's a whole experiment that spans throughout the US, it seems, hands across America, if you will. And I get similar vibes to that experiment that I do to the real building going on and Get Out. I do, but I don't think it's anything official. I could be wrong about that. Jordan Peele could be setting up a cinematic universe. But honestly, this is like a compliment to Jordan Peele. I think Jordan Peele is more subtle, and he's not really, in any cinematic universe stuff is going to be like Pixar style, where it's going to be like maybe Easter eggs. I don't think he's setting up like a whole connected saga. Anyways, also I don't know if you saw it or not, but the other thing. Oh yes. So Donovan Martin posted something to the Instagram account, to his Instagram, regarding us, and the kid from the movie who plays Jason liked it. That's very cool, Donovan. Cool that we live in a social media age such as that we can connect to stars and whatnot. Okay, Donovan says, I honestly think that the anthem from this movie will be my new favorite ringtone or set tone for my mom. Fitting. Nice. You're talking about the whole da, 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 the kind of the twisted version of the 5 on it beat, I assume. Okay, and here we get into, I honestly hope that Us is a Halloween Horror Nights maze at Universal Studios with some type of technology that can scan your face or body with an actor or make your very own doppelganger. I mean, yes, that sort of technology would be very cool, but honestly, I feel like Us, at the very least, like the red robes and the scissors and the glove and everything, like that's horror iconography unto itself, man. Like the Tethered, I feel like, are an instantly iconic horror monster, if you will. Okay, so just realize that this Donovan, I'm gonna kind of scroll through your thought this was better than Captain Marvel. Yes, Donovan, a lot of things are better than Captain Marvel. Shots fired. Okay, Red is a very complex villain because there really isn't one. Yes, let's talk about that. Holy crap, Red is an amazing character. Amazing performance by Lupita Nyong'o. And let's see. And yeah, you're right. There is no real main villain in this movie. It is just mostly a lot of a lot of moral ambiguity, a lot of a lot of shades of gray, which is one of the big strengths of Jordan Peele in general. All right. Jordan Peele is now one of my idols. Yeah, for sure. Okay, hold on. Wait for that. Oh yeah. Okay, and I am all caught up, Donovan. I am pretty much all caught up with you on the comments. So, Donovan, let me know in the chats if there's anything major, any big spoiler type things that you want me to talk about. But for now, we've got about 15 minutes left on this thing. I want to go over the twist regarding the fact that there's like all kinds of tethered people, because that was the main thing that threw me off of this movie when I first saw it, because I was so hyped the whole idea of the doppelganger. 1111 references. 1111 references. I'm not quite sure what that means, Donovan. Or maybe is that a reference to Get Out? It's been a while since I've seen Get Out. I'm sorry. But yeah, I was thrown off. Like the scene where the white people get blatantly murdered, like to the to the tune of the Beach Boys, was great. it was the second best use of the Beach Boys this week after the Toy Story 4 trailer. That was a wonderful scene. But by extension, I mean, I don't know. It's just like let's set up this whole myth tethered and everything because it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. So the government basically cloned a bunch of people, apparently enough people to have it to where they have the hands across America. Um, like it's enough people where you could form a line of them through the United States, apparently. And which is a lot of people, obviously, and they're all living underground. They're all living in these tunnels. The movie has a very obvious kind of like scary note at the beginning, like, ooh, you be scared of tunnels. There's a whole bunch of tunnel systems being unused and nobody knows their purpose in the United States. So the tunnels are very much set up. One of the things I noted is that the little kid Jason in the opening scene on the beach, he is not building a sandcastle. He is building, wait for it, a tunnel. Yes, yes. So that's cool. That's cool. That wasn't the opening scene though. How good was that opening scene? I mean, that opening scene was just a master. Who made them, Donovan? Yeah, I agree. That's a good question. I feel like at that point it's sort of like the movie just leaves it ambiguous up until that point. Maybe it was the elite rich white people from Get Out. The opening scene was freaking brilliant. I mean, it's like just right away it just captures you. And Donovan, you know what? I vividly remember the being the exact same age that the little girl is in the opening scene of that movie and being at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. And Donovan, I tell you, it's so. This movie uses the boardwalk in such a real way to me because I grew up with the boardwalk. The boardwalk was my childhood home. It really was. So yeah, just the fact that we get that sort of, but the fact that the opening scene kind of reveals the seedy underbelly of the boardwalk. And then we get that moment in the opening scene where we think we're going to get a jump scare, and Jordan Peele just masterfully cuts away from the jump scare, which is just a bold and great editorial choice. But anyway, so I'm kind of scattered all over the place here with this conversation, but yeah, I think that there are a lot of tethered. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like to me, it's like it probably makes more sense than just the general like doppelgangers, just kind of having no explanation for it, having it just be the family. Um, I will look at Santa Cruz the same way again. I agree, Donovan. I agree. The next time I go to the boardwalk will be very interesting. But okay, so there's two like how good was that home invasion scene? And then when they everything from the point where Winston Duke, big shout out to Winston Duke, he's also a great actor in this movie, shows a lot of range of his role in Black Panther. I love Winston Duke confronting the family. At first he's like, we don't need to call the cops. Let me handle this. And then he comes out, all right, maybe we should call the cops. They're 14 minutes away. 14 minutes. All right. And then we get that. You want to get crazy? Let's get crazy. But then the movie just goes haywire. And this is by far the most scary scene of the film when the doppelganger family gets loose on the house. And we get that crazy monologue from Red, the whole like, once upon a time. I can't do it right. I can't do it right. But it's just and then also one of the most suspenseful scenes is the scene that you guys are seeing right here in the thumbnail. The confrontation between the boy and the doppelganger version of himself. I love the mask symbolism of the movie. I thought that was done masterfully well. Let's see. Okay, Donovan, I'm going to throw a crazy theory your way. What do you think of the idea? That scene where Jason kind of lures the other version of himself into the fire, you know that scene? Well, I've been seeing speculation that that scene is proof or an indication that maybe the Jason that we see in the movie is, if not a tether, you know, if not the tether version of Jason, then at the very least, I feel like it's an indication, it's like a clue that Lupita Nyong'o's character is actually a tether. It's so so yeah, I don't know. I just think there's something up with the Jason character. I think him and Lupita Nyong'o are very much you know, tied together. And then speaking of which, that twist at the end with Lupita Nyong'o, I got to admit it wasn't the most, like, it wasn't the most mind-blowing twist in the world, but I don't really think it was meant to shock you. I think if the pieces, like the pieces are all there, you just kind of got to pick them up. You kind of just got to connect the dots, and it was very easy for me to connect the dots on a rewatch. But I mean, that being said, you know, it's like, of course, we have the whole like, I just want my little girl back line with a therapist. We have that very creepy shot with the reveal where the little girl is dragging the other little girl down the school hallway. That was crazy. Um, and then let's see. So yeah, I'm getting kind of scatterbrained here. I'm just kind of trying to go through the big spoilery stuff. Let's see. I mean, I wasn't crazy about the ending, I've got to admit. I wasn't crazy about the last shot of the movie with the you know, holding hands across that canyon. And the only reason why I wasn't crazy about that was because I thought that it maybe, like, I can totally buy this whole idea that there's a bunch of clone people living in the tunnels and they're living off of rabbits. I also think that the rabbits were the original clone experiment. That's my theory. And of course, since rabbits procreate so rapidly, that also makes sense to where they, you know, there would be just a shit ton of rabbits down there for them to feast on. And so I definitely get that vibe. I can basically catch all that Jordan Peele is throwing out there. But yeah, Donovan, you make a good point. It's kind of like a zombie invasion. I agree. And that's where the film kind of loses me just a little bit. That's where the film goes from like a 10 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10. Because I just thought the whole idea of the hands across America thing, there's just too many of them, frankly. Like, if it was resorted to just like, you know, what would have been a perfect thing is if it was just California or maybe even just Santa Cruz, if it was like a very isolated incident, like still enough people to where it would justify the experiment take place. You know, it's not just the one family, which would be weird to justify an experiment for. But I don't know. I just feel like the fact that this is like I'm glad it's not a global thing, but the fact that it is something that affects all across America, I wasn't crazy about that development. I really wasn't. That's like kind of the one wrinkle in the movie that I'm still having a hard time buying. The fact that it was such a vast experiment and there's so many other people. So so yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. I'm trying to think if there's any other major scenes or anything I'm missing. Donovan, feel free to jump in because I'm going to kind of switch over in just a minute here. I'm trying to let's see any other. The daughter was terrifying. Holy crap! I mean, that's talk about like again. I feel like all the cast, especially in the main family, just really shines. Yeah, and Duke, Lupita Nyong'o, of course, being the standouts, and I don't have the name of the kids, but yeah, the kids who played the daughter and the son. I mean, they were both, and just the whole idea of the mask with the son again. It's just super. I mean, it's all great. Okay, golden scissors. Yeah, what about the golden scissors? I mean, like I said, Donovan, I feel like the tethered really were designed to be Halloween Horror Nights iconography more than anything else. Like with the one glove and the scissors and everything. I'm not sure about the scissors. I'm not sure what to make of them, other than the fact that it's just a cool, memorable horror movie weapon for horror movie villains, which is kind of just what they're going for aesthetically. I do have a theory about the glove, though. I have a theory about the glove, and that's that since Adeline was wearing the Thriller shirt when she got swapped, right? She was wearing that Thriller shirt, and Michael Jackson is, of course, known for the whole one glove thing. That's where I think the one glove thing comes from. The fact that Michael Jackson was on Adeline's mind, like that might have been one of the last things that she was thinking about before she got swapped. So I really think that that kind of indicates that the one glove thing is kind of a nod to Michael Jackson, because this is Jordan Peele. This is Jordan Peele. We don't have symbolism in there for nothing. We don't have a reference to Michael Jackson in there for nothing. That's absolutely what I think he was going for. All right. Anyways, folks, I think that's about it. I was mostly just trying to do this for Donovan's sake. And so, Donovan, thank you for joining me. I know you were really looking forward to this movie, as was I. I'm not sure if anyone else will watch this, but we'll see. We'll see. And thank you for watching, folks. And in the meantime, I also, lo and behold, I just got out of a screening of Shazam. And did I like it? Well, you'll just have to wait and find out, unless you're on my Twitter, which you should be, at SYWTBAI55. Follow me, hit me up. All right, folks. See you later. Have a good night.